What is up, everybody? This is Big Ox 666 here, and check it out. Before I get to the main topic, I will be doing a giveaway. I will have a video posted up tomorrow of unboxing and what you will be getting in this unboxing. Also, I will be doing another video the next day after that. Pretty much will be my 100 subscribers update / giveaway, and I'll put more details into that video. And I will be doing my top 10 games of 2015 as well. Now, it won't be my game of the year. It's not happening. Okay, it'll be the top 10 games that I enjoyed of this year. It could be PS3 games, some PS4 games, but it won't be just like the games that came out this year. So I'm gonna let you guys know right now. I will be making a video and let you guys know again in that video. All right, but on to the main topic. Now, will Final Fantasy VII Remake will surpass the original Final Fantasy VII. Next year will be the 20-year anniversary, which is a freaking long time. Because I remember playing that game back in middle school. That game and Final Fantasy VIII. And wow, that thing had so much of a good story to it. So does Final Fantasy X. There's a bunch of, don't get me wrong, there's a bunch of Final Fantasy games that has a good story, which also I will be talking about that later in this video as well, of different types of Final Fantasy. But they said they will change a few things.
This may be our last chance.
Since I saw this at the PlayStation Experience, the trailer for it and the gameplay, it's more action based, like real time action. So basically like Kingdom Hearts, more like Crisis Core, which I have right here for the PSP, and there's a Cerberus, which was after Final Fantasy VII. So they're pretty much used to that type of action. I think Final Fantasy Type 0 HD is like that as well. There's a bunch of other games that are like that I could think of. I think one of the Crystal Chronicles was like that as well. I gotta go check it out in a little bit, but I wish, I kind of hope that they have that turn-based style, which you'll see in this video on Final Fantasy X and X-2. I like that old school turn-based style because that's what I grew up with, and I love that. But if you can switch it back and forth, that would be awesome as well. But the problem is, they announced that the Final Fantasy remake will be episodes. Each episode, like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, which I do not like, because I was gonna buy this thing like day one because I love Final Fantasy. Like anything that says Final Fantasy, I just start geeking out because I love it so much. I grew up with it. But this right here, I don't know if I'm gonna buy it day one. I don't know, unless they're gonna have complete disc, because if you guys don't remember, I think it was either a year ago or 2 years ago, Capcom did the same thing, and that was Resident Evil Revelations, which I have around here somewhere. I will show you the case and all, but I don't want to dig through here. They did it episode by episode by episode, which I did not like. I did not like that at all. So I pretty much wait for the whole disc based, and I don't know if it's gonna live to the hype, because they're gonna change a lot of stuff. They probably put some stuff that's like, hey, you guys remember this, or guys remember that. But I hope they don't change too much. I mean, I'm gonna play it either way. But you know, that nostalgia of Final Fantasy VII is always gonna be in my heart. Okay. But we'll just wait and see what they're gonna do. That's basically it. But pretty much about other Final Fantasy stuff. So, I've been playing Final Fantasy games for the longest time since Final Fantasy 2. No, well, yeah, Final Fantasy 2, which was back in the early 1990s. Let me see here. I remember going to Austin, back in Austin, Texas. There was a flea market. Well, me and my dad, my sister, my mom always went to, and I saw a game there that was kind of different, and I guess the intro like intrigued me when it was basically Final Fantasy 4, which was Final Fantasy 2 in the Super Nintendo days. Most the original Final Fantasy people would know about this, but I didn't know it was Final Fantasy 4 during that time. They had that crap all mixed up because they had Final Fantasy 3, which was Final Fantasy 6. But yeah, that was kind of crazy. But Final Fantasy 4 was like my favorite because that was my first Final Fantasy game I've ever played, and I will still play to this day because I have it on the Game Boy Advance, the PlayStation 1. I have it right here on the PSP, the DS. Yeah, I love Final Fantasy 4. I really do because just the story alone was totally amazing, And if you ever gonna get into Final Fantasy, you'll see Final Fantasy 10 right here. And I said before in my Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm unboxing, if you haven't seen that, I will leave a link in the description below. That this game right here, if you never played an RPG game, I would not recommend this one because it's a little bit challenging. Only like experienced people that actually play different type of RPG games I will recommend it to you. And the Final Fantasy games to avoid, in my opinion, just putting that out there, in my opinion, will be Final Fantasy 3, which is on the Nintendo 3DS. Stay away from that game. Stay away from that game because the reason why is it's so it doesn't have a good story to it, and also the gameplay is so repetitive. I actually almost fell asleep just pretty much playing with that game, and I have never like fell asleep on a Final Fantasy game. Excuse me. Final Fantasy 5. That, how can I put it? Me personally, I tried to go back to it plenty of times, and I just couldn't get into it. I guess it's just the class. Most of these games had class systems. Final Fantasy 3 had a class system. I'm afraid to play Square Enix Nintendo 3DS Bravery Default. I think it's that name. That has a class system. That type of stuff I do not like. I do not like at all. Which kind of weird because Final Fantasy X-2 has a class system and I enjoy it. And also Pain is so freaking hot. I love her. I actually have a figure of her. But anyways, off the subject here. But yeah, Final Fantasy 5 and Final Fantasy 3 I do not like because of class system. I do not like it. Everything else, 12. I do not like 12. It was so grindy as the Final Fantasy 11. I think that's the online one. It would play just like that, and I hated it. And supposedly they're supposed to be doing a remake of that, and I don't know if I'm gonna buy that or not. But who knows? What else? The other games: Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 2, I think Final Fantasy 2. Like I said, go ahead and play 4 if it's possible. I mean, you can find 4 easily. Like Nintendo 3D, DS, Game Boy Advance. I think PlayStation 2. It should be on the PlayStation Network as well. But yeah, and also play the fighting game Final Fantasy Dissidia, and I hope they bring it to the U.S. I hope they bring it to the U.S. because I would love to play, you know, Cecil from Final Fantasy IV all over again. And what else I need to talk about? Final Fantasy 13. Some people, I'm still playing Final Fantasy 13, the original one. I got a lot of freaking games to play, to be honest. But people didn't like the story of it and the gameplay. To me, I try to play it different type of Final Fantasy games because everybody has their own opinion. To me, Final Fantasy 13, it's kind of confusing. You have to read what's going on inside the game itself, which I kind of hate doing. I just want the video to play and be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, but Final Fantasy 13, the original Final Fantasy 13, is not like that. You have to read what's going on, which is kind of blah to me. But I still like Lightning because she's so freaking hot. That's my profile picture on my PlayStation Network, which she's freaking hot. But anyways, yeah, I think that's about it. I just hope Final Fantasy 7, about to say 17, will live up to the hype. I really do, because I want everybody to actually play Final Fantasy games, because, you know, if you like a good story, those right there would have it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I play different type of RPG games. Let me see. Blue Dragon, that was a good game. Eternal Sonata was on a PlayStation 3 and 360. That was a good game. There's a bunch of RPG games. I need to play Ni no Kuni as well, because my best friend, she loved that game, and they announced a second one, and I have it on a PS3. So yeah, I'm not just like all Final Fantasy stuff like that, but RPGs take a quite a bit of your time. I wonder if Mass Effect is considered an RPG. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of different. How about that? But yeah, that's all I have to say about it. If you have any questions about Final Fantasy, I'll answer them, you know, best way possible. And also, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And also, share my video and subscribe. But anyways, this is Big Ox 666. Y'all stay awesome. Play Final Fantasy games. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for